The flashing red and blue lights painted my backyard pool like some cheap crime scene movie, and all I could think was, 6 months ago this woman didn't even know my name. Now the whole block knew hers, and not in the way she wanted. Because when Brenda Harlan decided my private pool was her personal community perk, she forgot one tiny detail. The guy who just moved in used to spend 20 years burying fraud artists like her under their own paperwork. It was a Thursday dawn in Horizon Ridge Estates, Phoenix suburbs, where every lawn is shaved to exactly 3 inches and every flagpole is tastefully limited to 4 feet. I stood in my doorway, coffee steaming, bathrobe flapping in the dry desert breeze, staring at 2 very confused cops and one very smug Brenda in her tennis whites. Vanilla perfume hit me like a chemical weapon. Behind her, my pool, Sarah's last design before the cancer won, glittered innocent and blue, completely unaware it had just become a battlefield. "Officers," Brenda announced, arms crossed like she was on Judge Judy. "This resident is violating Section 4.2 of the HOA covenants. Shared recreational amenities must be accessible to all dues-paying members. He's been denying the community use of that pool for weeks." She said community, the way other people say God-given right. One cop scratched his neck. "Ma'am, it's in his backyard. Fence and everything. Technically adjacent to the common area greenbelt," she snapped, flipping open her binder like it was the Constitution. "The clause is crystal clear." I took a slow sip of coffee. "Morning, officers. Coffee? No. All right. Brenda, the deed on file at Maricopa County says this pool was built 3 years before the HOA even existed. Pre-merger. Private. End of story." Her smile didn't move, but her eyes did, that little twitch people get when their script glitches. "We'll see what the board clarifies at the emergency meeting I just called." She turned on her heel, heels clicking like tiny gavels, leaving the cops shrugging, and me standing there wondering how many neighbors were already filming from behind their perfect blinds. That was the spark. What followed was 6 months of Brenda Harlan turning neighborly concern into a full-contact sport. By the next weekend the violation notices started arriving like junk mail from hell. Grass edging exceeds tolerance by 0.4 inches. Unauthorized solar lights visible from street view after 8 p.m. Guest vehicle parked 14 minutes past the 48-hour limit. Each one signed with her perfect looping signature and a little smiley face sticker, because apparently passive aggression needs accessories. Neighbors stopped waving. Garage doors slammed when I walked the trash out. The group chat, once full of lost dog alerts, filled with passive little grenades. Some people think rules are optional, just saying. No names. Everyone knew. I didn't panic. I documented. Tiny cameras at the property line. Timestamps on every envelope. Because 20 years of auditing crooked developers had taught me the golden rule. Bullies who live by paperwork die by paperwork. Then Maria Torres, the quiet HOA treasurer who always smelled like lemon hand sanitizer, showed up at my door one night with a thumb drive and a whisper. The landscaping invoices, they don't add up. And every time someone pushes back on Brenda, suddenly their dues assessment jumps. I opened the spreadsheets at 2 a.m. with only the pool pump humming outside. Kickbacks. Classic. Brenda's real estate firm, Harlan Luxury Homes, was coincidentally getting fat referral fees from the same contractors the HOA kept hiring at 40% over market. Snow removal services in Phoenix, where it hasn't snowed since 1992. Pool chemical contracts tripled after she personally inspected the bids. Every time a homeowner got a fine for non-compliance, another 5-figure check landed in her brokerage account 2 days later. I almost laughed. The woman who weaponized community standards was robbing the community blind while lecturing us about flag etiquette. I started answering her notices with polite, copied to the entire board emails requesting the exact bylaw subsection, the board meeting minutes that authorized the fine, and my favorite, proof the violation had been photographed from a public right-of-way, because guess what? Brenda's own rules required that too. Each reply made the paper trail thicker. Each timestamp proved harassment pattern. She escalated. Of course she did. Second set of cop cars, same driveway, same vanilla fog. This time she claimed I'd threatened board volunteers and was operating in unpermitted gathering space. Translation: 2 neighbors had dared to wave at me while I skimmed the pool. I handed the officers a fresh binder before they even asked. Page 1, body cam footage from last month showing Ms. Harlan crossing my property line without permission. Page 4, County deed proving zero HOA jurisdiction over pre-existing structures. Page 7. Bank records showing $487,000 in unexplained transfers. The older cop flipped pages, eyebrows climbing. Brenda's face went the color of undercooked bacon. "Ma'am," he said slowly, "you do realize filing repeated false reports can be a misdemeanor, right?" That was the moment the mask slipped. She started yelling about ingrates and property values I single-handedly protected. Her binder hit the pavement. Neighbors who'd spent months hiding behind curtains were now standing on porches, phones up, recording the Queen of Control completely lose it in 110-degree heat. By the time the cops left, without citing me, but noting her for misuse of emergency services, the group chat had flipped. Suddenly it was, "We need an emergency audit," and "Brenda, care to explain the landscaping budget?" 2 weeks later the community hall smelled like burnt coffee and revolution. Every chair filled. Local news van outside. Brenda sat front row in a power suit that suddenly looked 2 sizes too big. I stepped to the podium, clicked the first slide, a simple chart showing $487,000 missing. Then the emails. Then the timestamps matching every harassment campaign to every fat deposit in her account. The room went dead quiet except for one guy in the back who whispered, "Holy shit." Brenda tried the usual script. "This is a witch hunt by a bitter widower." But the words died when Maria Torres stood up and read the state statute on HOA fiduciary duty out loud. Then the county fraud detective walked in. "Badge out." Handcuffs glinting under the fluorescent lights. Brenda's last words before they walked her out? "I was only trying to maintain standards." The judge later called it textbook embezzlement wrapped in pastel binder clips. Restitution, full amount plus interest. Resignation, immediate. New HOA charter. Term limits, open books, zero tolerance for clipboard tyrants. 6 months after the first cop cars, I sat on the edge of Sarah's pool at dusk. The same pool Brenda tried to seize. Kids were splashing, actual kids, not just in my imagination. Neighbors grilled burgers without glancing over their shoulders. Maria floated on a raft, laughing about something normal for once. A new plaque by the gate reads, "Horizon Ridge Community Pool, dedicated to the day paperwork finally worked both ways." Brenda's house is on the market. Funny how fast luxury listing turns into motivated seller when the FBI shows up. So here's the question that still keeps the block chat buzzing at night. True or false, the person who screams loudest about following the rules is almost always the one who gets crushed by them in the end? Drop your answer below and tell me your own HOA horror story. Because sometimes the sweetest revenge isn't yelling back. It's just reading the fine print and letting it read them right back.